guys, today I'm going to make a very special Indian treat, which is my favorite, and this is with just 3 ingredients, the main ingredient being the cashew nuts. And it's such a simple recipe that it literally takes 30 minutes for you from the start to the end. If I have to say, this is a cashew fudge. In Hindi, it's called Kaaju Katli. Kaaju means cashew, so everybody would love it. Here and there, I'll give you little tips which will go a long way. I'll give you little tips on how to take the sugar syrup and how to powder the cashew nuts, which will go a long way for this recipe. Let's first blend the cashew nuts. So now I'm going to say it in cup measurements, which should be quite easy and simple. So I've taken 2 cups of whole cashew. I'm going to grind this. I'm going to put that in a blender. Just blend them half and half. Do not blend it all together. If you blend it all together, you will not get a fine powder, and make sure you blend it only in pulse mode, else it'll ooze out the oil and mess up the whole recipe. So now I have made this into a fine powder. Take a sieve and pop that in. Then I get the fine powder. I don't want any bits and pieces. Look at that. You get that residue kind of a thing, which I'm going to grind it again. I ain't going to waste this residue. Pop that in. Pop in the rest of the cashew nuts in the blender and blend it into a fine powder. Popping in the second half of the ground cashew nuts and sieve it. So now I've got the cashew powder ready. Here, as you can see, look at that, how fine powder this is. And it is also dry and not oozed out any oil. So this is the right consistency of cashew powder. Let's move on to the second part, where I'm going to make the sugar syrup. I'm taking 1 cup of granulated sugar, add it to the pan. To 1 cup of granulated sugar, I'm taking half a cup of water. And the measurements are also quite simple to remember. It's just 2:1:1. Make sure you keep this on low to medium flame, so you don't want the syrup to get burnt at the bottom. I'm going to take the syrup to 1.5 string consistency. I'll show that to you and you won't miss it out. Keep stirring it. In the meantime, I'm going to powder the cardamom pods. Taking 5 cardamom pods, pop it in a pestle and mortar, and I'm going to crush it into a fine powder. One of the tips here is that I'm going to add a little bit of granulated sugar and then just crush that. And by this means you'll get it into a fine powder. Look at that, I've taken the skin off after crushing the cardamom pods, and the seeds stay inside the pestle and mortar to make it into a fine powder. There you can see it has become a really fine powder there. This is to add to the flavor to the fudge. You need to keep stirring so the granules don't stay at the bottom. There it is. I can see that it is completely dissolved. Now you can see when I pour it, it pours and then stops, and the droplets drop down. And now I'm going to test it with my fingers. Be cautious, it'll be too hot, don't burn your finger. Just take a little bit of it. You can see 1.5 string consistency. It comes as a long string and snaps off. Make sure you have it on low flame. And now I'm going to add cashew nut powder. I have taken 2 cups of cashew nut powder, or in gram measurements, this is 250 grams. So I'm going to pop that in. You can pop it all at once. Keep stirring. After you grind the cashew nut, make sure you also sift it with a sieve, so you don't want the residue, because this particular fudge needs to be really smooth and it'll melt in your mouth when you eat it. So all these little tips will go a long way to make a perfect treat, and you will love it. This sweet is super addictive. Believe me, if you try this out at home and do it, you will enjoy it. I'm going to sprinkle the cardamom powder. I'm sprinkling it at this stage because I want it to be evenly incorporated. When you start making this at home, you will know how simple this is and you will keep making it. Initially it was a bit thin and now it started thickening up. When it is a little bit kind of thin, if you take it at that consistency, after it cools down, the fudge will not be firm. The consistency is also equally important. So now there you can see how thick it is. At this stage, I'm going to quickly add 1 spoon of clarified butter or ghee. This will give that sheen to the fudge. Let it get incorporated evenly. Isn't it quite simple? Look at that. Now it has all come together just as I added the ghee. I've got a butter paper ready, just greasing it with clarified butter or ghee. If I do not grease the butter sheet with ghee, the fudge is going to stick on when I put it on. So do not skip this step of greasing it. You could also use unsalted butter or vegetable oil according to your choice, but I prefer ghee, which gives a good flavor. So now I'll just transfer it to the sheet. Now I'm going to knead it, fold it and knead it, because I have scraped. And look at that. Did you see the consistency there? You use butter paper so your hand doesn't get burnt, because it's super hot now. Now I'm going to start rolling it. It's still warm. I can feel it. And let me also show you the consistency after I've taken it off. When you take it like that, you can easily make kind of any shape like that. So here it's firm and not loose and not too hard as well. There. Here I've got the silver leaves, which are edible. So there, I'm going to lay it on the top. So I would not recommend using this, but just for the video's sake I'm making this. You can do it without laying these silver leaf on the top. I'm trimming the edges to make it into an even shape, because I'm going to cut it as a diamond eventually. There. I don't have enough sheets. You can either get these smaller sheets or bigger sheets to your preference. So I've left some out. One is I don't have enough of sheets, and two is to show you how it looks, and you can eat it even without the silver leaf as well. Because I don't know how healthy these silver leaves are, so better to have it without them than with those. These are just for it to look good. Even when I cut it, you can see how firm it is. Yeah, scale is just a guide for you to cut it out in a good shape. I'm going to cut it crosswise so I get to the diamond shape. Just placing it on the plates. Do not leave the sugar syrup for long. If you leave the sugar syrup for long, the fudge is going to be super hard. Once you start having it, this is super addictive, believe me. Amazing. It looks super appetizing, super yummy. And let me show you how it looks when I break it, how soft it is, and nice, very well textured and super yummy. I in fact tasted it in the middle of me making the fudge. So guys, hope you all enjoyed this video, and you can try and make this super simple cashew fudge or Kaaju Katli at home and enjoy this, especially during this festive season. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, you could hit the subscribe button. As well as, if you've liked this video, make sure you hit the like button, share it with your friends and families, and enjoy your time. Thanks much. Bye.